Okay, so we start with question number 1. We have to find limit m tending to infinity of limit n tending to infinity 1 plus cos to the power 2m into n factorial pi x for case 1, x belonging to rational numbers, case 2, x belonging to irrational numbers. Find limit m tending to infinity of limit n tending to infinity 1 plus cos 2m n factorial pi x. For the first case, x belonging to rational numbers. The second case, x belonging to irrational numbers. Okay, so if we look at case 1, which is x belonging to rational numbers, then the mechanism of solving this would be if x belongs to rational numbers and n tending to infinity hai, so n factorial into x will be an integer because since x is a rational number, implies x would be in the form of p by q, and then whatever q we have wo n factorial mein hoga, so that q and q in the n factorial will get cancelled off. So if x is a rational number, n factorial into x will be an integer given that n is tending to infinity. Okay, so we'll have cos of n factorial x times pi will be like cos of integral pi, and integral times pi, and cos of integral pi is plus minus 1. Odd pe minus 1 hai, even pe 1 hai. But we have a cos square as well. So cos square n factorial pi x will be 1, and this is an exact one. Okay, this is an exact value. Okay, this will be an exact value. So in that case, what will happen to limit m tending to infinity cos to the power 2m n factorial pi x? So it will be like a 1 power infinity, the value would be 1. So, and we have a 1 already. So the final answer of this would be 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. For, for the case of a rational number, the value of the limit would be 2. Is everyone able to understand this?
Sir, can you repeat once again?
Sure. If x is a rational number, then it implies that x will be in the form of p by q, where q is an integer. But we have a n factorial multiplied to it. In fact, we can add it over here. We have a n tending to infinity. N factorial x will be an integer. Okay, बिकॉज वट एवर क्यू वी हैव इन एक्स डिनोमिनेटर में वो तो एन फैक्टोरियल में भी होगा ही. तो ये वाला क्यू in the denominator of x and the q in the n factorial will get cancelled off and the remaining value will become an integer. And in that case, cos of n factorial pi n factorial x times pi becomes a cos of integral pi, and cos of integral pi का value is plus minus 1. स्क्वायर कर देंगे तो 1 हो गया, एग्जैक्ट वैल्यू 1 हो गया. ठीक है ना.
गॉट इट सर.
तो अब इसका अगर एग्जैक्ट वैल्यू 1 है तो लिमिट m पावर इन्फिनिटी लगा दो. एग्जैक्ट वैल्यू 1 पावर इन्फिनिटी इज 1. ओके, नेक्स्ट case 2. What if x is not a rational number? X is irrational. तो क्या होगा? So in that case, n factorial x times pi will not be an integral multiple of pi. ठीक है, which means cos of n factorial x by pi must be less than 1. स्क्वायर कर दो. Must be a value lying between 0 and 1. ठीक है ना. So if it is a value lying between 0 to 1, so what would happen to limit m tending to infinity cos of 2 power m n factorial x pi? A value lying between 0 to 1 raised to the power infinity हो जाएगा 0. So इस केस में the value of the limit would be 1 plus 0, which is 1. Because only when cos is an integral multiple of pi will its magnitude be 1. Clear on this?
सर कुड यू प्लीज एक बार वापस समझा दें.
हाँ, श्योर श्योर. एक बार आपसे समझाने क्या.
हाँ, दूसरा वाला पार्ट, केस 2.
हाँ, तो अगर x इरेशनल है तो n फैक्टोरियल और x तो कैंसिल होगा नहीं, फिर तो ये इंटीजर नहीं बन सकता. इट विल नॉट बी एन इंटीग्रल मल्टीपल ऑफ पाई. ठीक है ना. दिस वुड इम्प्लाई दैट n फैक्टोरियल x इज नॉट एन इंटीजर, क्योंकि n फैक्टोरियल रैशनल है और x विल बी इरेशनल. ठीक है. तो n factorial x times pi will not be an integral multiple of pi, and cos of any number which is not an integral multiple of pi, cos square of any number which is not an integral multiple of pi has to lie between 0 and 1, क्योंकि 1 और प्लस प्लस माइनस 1 तो इंटीग्रल पाई के लिए आते हैं, एज वी डिड इन द प्रीवियस पार्ट ऑफ दिस क्वेश्चन. तो इट इज अ वैल्यू लाइंग बिटवीन 0 to 1 रेज द पावर इंफिनिटी हो गया, तो वैल्यू रिड्यूसेस टू 0. ठीक है ना.
सर इसमें ग्रेटर देन इक्वल टू 0 किस लिए नहीं है?
ग्रेटर देन इक्वल टू.
इक्वल टू 0.
हाँ, तो कॉस स्क्वायर है ना, नेगेटिव कैसे होगा.
हाँ सर, तो वो ग्रेटर देन इक्वल टू 0 होना चाहिए ना, आपने ग्रेटर देन 0 क्यों लिखा फिर?
उसके लिए इंटीग्रल मल्टीपल ऑफ पाई बाई 2 होना चाहिए ना, वो भी कैसे होगा.
ओके सर.
0 तो इंटीग्रल मल्टीपल ऑफ पाई बाई 2 पे होगा ना.
यस सर, यस सर.
तो इंटीग्रल मल्टीपल ऑफ पाई नहीं है तो इंटीग्रल मल्टीपल ऑफ पाई बाई 2 भी नहीं हो सकता.
ओके सर.
Okay, next question. Limit n tending to infinity. Cos of x by 2 into cos of x by 2 square into cos of x by 2 cube into cos of x by 2 to the power n. How do we solve this? This is a product series of cos with angles in GP. तो इसके लिए क्या फॉर्मूला लगता है?
n sin x by 2 to the power n
Sine
sin x
of
by sin
twice the
of
largest angle. So twice of what is the largest angle over here?
2 to the power
X by 2 is the largest angle. So sine of twice the largest angle divided by 2 to the power number of terms into sine of the smallest angle. ये फॉर्मूला होता है प्रोडक्ट ऑफ कॉस सीरीज का. तो सीधा फॉर्मूला लग जाएगा साइन ऑफ ट्वाइस द लार्जेस्ट एंगल डिवाइड बाय 2 to the power number of terms into sine of the smallest angle. अब यहां से बस इसको सिंप्लीफाई कर लेंगे. तो ये तो साइन एक्स हो गया. दिस इज लाइक राइटिंग साइन एक्स बाई, अच्छा साइन ऑफ एक्स बाई 2 पावर एन है. सो अब वी हैव अ 2 पावर एन यहाँ पे. तो लेट्स से वी रीराइट इट लाइक दिस एक्स बाई 2 पावर एन इंटू एक्स लिमिट एन टेंडिंग टू इन्फिनिटी. तो एज एन टेंड्स टू इन्फिनिटी एक्स बाई 2 पावर एन विल टेंड टू जीरो. तो ये वाला पार्ट हो जाएगा. देखो तो फिर ये वाला पार्ट हो जाएगा साइन ऑफ समथिंग बाय दैट समथिंग एज अ समथिंग टेंड्स टू जीरो. तो इसका वैल्यू क्या हो गया? 1.
1. 1.
सो दिस वुड कम आउट टू बी sin x बाई एक्स. एंड देन sin x बाई एक्स का वैल्यू क्या हो जाएगा? What will we do with sin x
0,
by
0,
x?
0.
कुछ नहीं करेंगे. The answer is sin x by x. Limit is on n. X is a constant. The answer of this question is sin x by x. Okay, next question 3. Find limit x tending to 0, box of n sin x by x plus m tan x by x, box of. Box functions है. Box of n sin x by x, box of m tan x by x. Now, the reason we are discussing this is because there is an important technicality over here that you have to remember. It's again something distinction caused because of the difference between exact values and tending values. Okay. Now, as limit x tends to 0, what is the value of sin x by x?
1.
Sin x by x का लिमिट 1 होता है. ठीक है, सही बात है. But if we look at limit of x tending to 0, box of sin x by x, so what be the value of this?
0.
Does not exist.
इसका value is 0. ठीक है. Now, the reason why this happens is because sin x by x is a value slightly less than 1. ठीक है, हल्का सा 1 माइनस होता है ये. Sin x by x is slightly less than 1. Okay, so the best approximation that we have if of the value in the neighborhood is 1. But when we apply a box to it, things change. Because even if the value is slightly less than 1, what will happen to the box? Box उसका चला जाएगा 0 पे. ठीक है. So sin x by x is a value slightly less than 1, because of which box of sin x by x 10 becomes 0. ठीक है ना? Now, but we have, when we have a n sin x by x, so this is like writing. Okay, ये तो पहला पॉइंट था, साथ में पहले ये भी कर लेते हैं. Now, same way, when we discuss for tan, to limit x tending to 0, tan x by x, what is the value of tan x by x? ये 1 है.
plus
ठीक है. Okay, now similarly for this case, what will happen to limit x tending to 0, box of tan x by x? This, however, is still 1.
1.
ठीक है ना? Now, the reason this happens is because tan x by x as x tends to 0, the exact value of this is 1 plus. It is slightly greater than 1. Okay. अच्छा, how do we know कि sin x by x is slightly less than 1, tan x by x is slightly greater than 1? इसका भी proof करेंगे. ठीक है. We'll do the proof of this as well. Once we do the related theorems, we'll do the proof of this as well. अभी के लिए just note कर लो कि sin x by x is slightly less than 1 around 0 and tan x by x is slightly greater than 1 around 0. ठीक है. The proof of this will keep it pending till we go and discuss the related theorems. ठीक है. So since it is 1 plus, तो इसका जब box करेंगे तो box of a value slightly greater than 1, तो 1 ही आएगा. So ये दो चीजें याद रखना, especially for sin x by x, special tan के लिए तो ठीक ही है. Sin x by x, the limit is 1, but limit of the box is 0. ठीक है ना? So in the question, what happens would be, the question would be treated as this. So this is n into a value slightly less than 1. Okay, this is n into 1 minus. So that will end up becoming n minus. Now, what would be box of n minus?
n minus 2.
तो ये n minus 1 पे चला जाएगा.
n-1
ठीक है. डेल्टा लेस देन n will be n minus 1. बॉक्स हो गया n minus 1. और m tan x would be like a m into 1 plus, which would give us m plus. Now what would be box of m plus?
m
तो ये m ही आएगा.
m
हाँ, so the final answer of this would be n plus m minus 1. ठीक है, that will be the final answer. n plus m minus 1, that will be the value of the limit. पर याद रखना sin x by x का box is 0. ठीक है. Okay. Then we go to a next topic. We do it as a topic. Limit of sequences. Limit of sequences. Now, in limit of sequences, there are generally two types of questions designed. The first type of question is where you would be given the nth term of the sequence, and you'd be asked to find out limit n tending to infinity an. ठीक है ना. And second वाला रहेगा, you will be given Sn and you would be asked to find out limit n tending to infinity Sn. ठीक है ना. अच्छा, इसमें जो सेकंड कैटेगरी वाला है, दिस इज बेसिकली द एंटायर थिंग दैट वी हैव डन इन सीक्वेंस एंड सीरीजेस. ठीक है, ये सीक्वेंस एंड सीरीजेस का पार्ट हो जाएगा, जहां पे इफ यू रिमेंबर finding the in sum of infinite terms of an AGP, finding the infinite terms of sequences using the telescopic method, or even the in the last chapter the trigonometric sequences that we did, inverse trigonometric sequences, वो सारा इसमें आ जाएगा पार्ट 2. ठीक है, कोई भी एक सीक्वेंस दे देगा, उसका जनरल टर्म दे देगा, समेशन लगा के 1 to n लिमिट n टेंडिंग टू इन्फिनिटी. ठीक है. So that is something that we have done in sequence and series. Second wala part mein, we'll just take a couple of questions for examples just to jog your memory back. But it primarily be something like an, which we will be solving, right? So if you look at the first part of it, given an, finding limit n tending to infinity an. ठीक है. So इसके भी examples देते हैं. So suppose we are given something like this. A sequence of numbers is such that an plus 1 is given as 1/3 of an plus 125 an square. Then find limit n tending to infinity an. So in this case, the logic that is applied is if we look at infinite terms, okay, so can we say that limit n tending to infinity a of n plus 1 should be equal to limit n tending to infinity an? Is everyone okay with this part? This is simply from the result that whether we have a infinity plus 1 or a infinity. अब infinity plus 1 हो या infinity हो, बात तो एक ही है. ठीक है. So what we do is we assume that let's say the limit is something, some L, right? And then in this relation, we take limit n tending to infinity. So limit n tending to infinity, a of n plus 1 is limit n tending to infinity 1/3 of an plus 125 an square. Now this would be like L is equal to, now limit is distributive. So 1/3 L plus 125 L square. अब यहां से बस L के लिए सॉल्व कर लो. So this is 3L minus L हो गया 2L, 2L cube. हाँ सॉरी, यहाँ पे माय बैड. चलो ठीक है, ये भी चलेगा, इसमें कोई वो है तो नहीं. There was a 2 over here. I missed out. एक क्वेश्चन में 2 an था. There was a 2 over here. Please make the correction in the question. There was a 1/3 twice of an plus 125 an square. So this would be 3L minus 2L, L cube is 125, or that will give us L as 5, which implies that limit n tending to infinity an of this sequence would be 5. Was anyone able to understand this? So this is a generic type of question that we have on sequences. This is the principle that we follow for such limits. ये सीक्वेंस वाले क्वेश्चंस के लिए ये लॉजिक लगता है. Like for example, suppose we have another question of quite a similar fashion. Question: find limit n tending to infinity an for a sequence where an plus 1 is equal to root over of 2 plus an. Bolo, what be the answer for this?
2.
2 and
So
3.
we again apply the same condition, that limit n tending to infinity a of n plus 1 must be equal to limit n tending to infinity an and let it be L. तो यहाँ पे अकॉर्डिंग टू दिस रिजल्ट आ जाएगा L इज इक्वल टू रूट ओवर ऑफ 2 प्लस L, और दैट्स लाइक L स्क्वायर minus L minus 2 is equal to 0. So L minus 2 into L plus 1. So either L is equal to 2 or minus 1. But since L is defined as an absolute root, it's an absolute root of something, L must be greater than 0. So minus 1 reject हो जाएगा. Therefore, the answer is 2. ठीक है. Similarly, question. For a sequence, a of n plus 1 is defined as 4 plus 3an divided by 3 plus 2an. Find limit n tending to infinity an.
सर एक बार क्वेश्चन रिपीट कर सकते
क्या है आंसर?
हो? वो क्वेश्चन में an प्लस 1 इक्वल टू क्या लिखा हुआ है एक बार बता सकते
an plus is equal to, अच्छा हाँ ठीक है, I'll rewrite it. थोड़ा सा वो हो गया, इलेजिबल हो गया. 4 plus 3an divided by 3 plus 2an.
हो? ओके सर.
Given that a1 is 1, ये भी याद कर लो इंफॉर्मेशन. गिवन दैट a1 is 1, काम आएगा ये. ये भी सिंपल सी क्वेश्चन है.
Root 2.
root 2. So in this case, it will be like L is equal to 4 plus 3L divided by 3 plus 2L. So 3L plus 2L square is equal to 4 plus 3L. 3L cancel हो गया, 2 और 2 cancel हो गया. L is equal to plus minus root 2 हो जाएगा. But since it is given that A1 is 1 and it is a sequence where we add positive numbers, so it becomes a sequence of positive numbers. Because A1 is 1, becomes a sequence of positive numbers. Therefore, the negative value is eliminated. L is root 2. ठीक है? Okay. 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 Now, the next topic in this will become finding fx. Next category of question that we get will be this. All of the questions will be based on something similar. Okay, so the question in this would be find a polynomial fx of the least degree. Find a polynomial of fx of least degree such that limit x tending to 0, 1 plus x square plus fx divided by x square whole to the power 1 by x is e square. Find a polynomial of the smallest degree so that this happens. So now the method of solving these questions is that as x tends to 0, we think of the scenario in this way. कि भाई देखो 1 पर 1 by x. 1 by x will tend to infinity for sure. ठीक है. Now, if 1 plus x square plus fx by x square is something greater than 1, so then 1 power infinity of it. So this would imply that 1 to the power infinity will tend to infinity. ठीक है. पर वो तो है नहीं. It is tending to e square. So ये वाला केस तो नहीं है. If 1 plus x square plus fx by x square was a value less than 1, then what would happen to it? A value less than 1 raised to the
0.
power infinity क्या होता है? 0 होता है. पर वो भी ये नहीं हो रहा है. तो ये वाला केस भी नहीं है. So if it is neither greater than 1 nor less than 1, so what is the only option is left with? The only option that remains with it is
Equal to 1.
1
Equal to
plus
1.
x square plus fx by x square must be approximately equal to 1. so that it ends up becoming a 1 power infinity form, then which we can further evaluate. ठीक है, ताकि इस पे आगे चाय पे चर्चा कर सके.
Yes.
Right. So we start with this, that okay, we establish that this is a 1 power infinity form. तभी इसका limit can be something like in the form of e square. And since it's a 1 power infinity form, then what can we directly write it as? Limit x tending to 0 e to the power gx into fx minus 1. तो 1 डायरेक्टली कैंसिल हो जाएगा, ये एक्स स्क्वायर प्लस एफ एक्स बाई एक्स स्क्वायर हो गया ई स्क्वायर. ठीक है ना. And then again, since the limit of this is equal to e square, so that implies x square plus fx by x cube, limit x tending to 0, ये 2 होना चाहिए क्योंकि लिमिट तो e के ऊपर शिफ्ट हो जाएगा. अब x tending to 0 में what do we look at? X tending to 0 rational function, what do we look at?
Smallest square.
Fx is given to be a polynomial, so x square plus fx by x cube must be a rational function. And x tending to 0 rational function अपने देखते क्या है, coefficient of the smallest power.
smallest.
ठीक है. तो अब मान लो fx को तो polynomial बोला है, तो fx को let's say we write it as some a0 plus a1x plus a2x square plus a3x cube plus a power 4 x power 4 dot 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 an xn. मान लो एक जनरल पॉलिनोमियल है. तो now we need to find out what would be the polynomial of the smallest degree for which ये लिमिट सेटिस्फाई हो जाए. ठीक है, तो इसको यहां पे डाला. So this would be limit x tending to 0 x square plus a0 plus a1x plus a2x square plus a3x cube plus a power 4 x power 4 dot 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 by x cube. अब because smallest coefficient तो smallest power का चाहिए, तो at present what is the smallest power in this?
X.
a0 कांस्टेंट है, स्मॉलेस्ट पावर, पर डिनोमिनेटर में कांस्टेंट है नहीं. So in that case the limit cannot exist, so a0 must be 0. अब a0 अगर 0 हो गया तो what be the next smallest power? नेक्स्ट स्मॉलेस्ट पावर आएगा x का, वो भी डिनोमिनेटर में नहीं है, तो a1 भी 0 होना चाहिए. नेक्स्ट स्मॉलेस्ट पावर आएगा x स्क्वायर का, वो भी डिनोमिनेटर में नहीं है, तो x स्क्वायर का टोटल कोएफिशिएंट इज 1 प्लस a2, तो ये भी 0 होना चाहिए. दैट इंप्लाइज a2 इज -1. फिर नेक्स्ट हाईएस्ट पावर आएगा, नेक्स्ट स्मॉलेस्ट पावर आएगा x क्यूब का, विच इज इन द डिनोमिनेटर. तो दिस वुड बी a3 by 1 इज इक्वल टू 2. सो a3 आ गया 2. ठीक है. एंड सिंस दिस लिमिट एग्जिस्ट, तो अपने आगे चेक करेंगे नहीं क्योंकि अपने को तो स्मॉलेस्ट पावर चाहिए. Was everyone able to make sense of this? So in that case, what would be the polynomial fx? Fx would be 2x cube minus x square. ठीक है. अच्छा, अब for the explanation part we did it like this. But अगर नोटिस करोगे तो अगर सीधा यहाँ पे क्रॉस मल्टीप्लाई करके सिंप्लीफाई कर दोगे तो भी सेम आंसर आ जाएगा. डू यू रियलाइज दिस? इसको डायरेक्टली सिंप्लीफाई करने से भी सीधा आंसर आ जाता है. सो दैट इज व्हाट वी विल प्रेफर टू डू. दिस वाज जस्ट फॉर द एक्सप्लेनेशन कि लॉजिक क्या लगता है, बट आंसर यहां से ले आएंगे अब डायरेक्टली सॉल्व करके. इज एवन क्लियर ऑन दिस? ये क्वेश्चन समझ में आया ना? Okay, then try one more on this. Question same. Find the polynomial fx of least degree for which limit extending to 0, 1 plus x times 1 plus fx by x square whole to the power 1 by x is E. Solve. You solve it in the same way, assuming it to be a 1 power infinity because only that's the only way in which the limit can become E. So limit extending to 0 e to the power gx into fx minus 1. So that will be like अच्छा यहाँ पे x square होगा. My bad. Just make a small correction. ये x square था. x square था ये. So that will be like a x plus xfx by x square is equal to E. Power 1. So from here we can directly say that limit extending to 0 x plus xfx by x cube is equal to 1. अब जैसे मैं बोला यहीं पे डायरेक्टली सॉल्व करके निकाल लो. तो fx would be like x cube minus
minus
x whole divided by x. So which will come out to be x square minus 1. x भी होता तो चलता, वैसे फर्क नहीं पड़ता, ठीक है. Is anyone clear with this?
yes.
Hmm. Okay, moving on. तो कुछ मस्त से क्वेश्चन डिस्कस करते हैं। क्वेश्चन, fx is defined as sine inverse of 1 minus fractional part of x into cos inverse of 1 minus fractional part of x divided by root over of twice of fractional part of x into 1 minus fractional part of x. If r is the right hand limit of fx at x equal to 0, L is the left hand limit of fx at x equal to 0, find the value of 2r square plus 4l square. Find the value of 2r square plus 4l square. Okay. So we solve it in this way. So first thing first, we have to find the limit at x equal to 0, and 0 is a key point for fractional part function. So obviously LHL और RHL में split करना होगा. So first part, let's say we try to find the right hand limit of this. RHL से शुरू करते हैं. Okay. Now, so to begin with, what we do is, if you remember fractional part of x, how do we define fractional part of x? It is x minus box x.
Box.
So if x is slightly greater than 0, that is to say that x lies between 0 to 1, पूरा ही ले लो, although 0 plus के लिए solve करना है, फर्क नहीं पड़ता. So if x lies between 0 to 1, so what would fractional part of x behave as? x, क्योंकि box तो 0 हो जाएगा. So for the right hand limit x tending to 0 plus, पूरे expression में fractional part of x will get replaced with x. So this will become sine inverse of 1 minus x into cos inverse of 1 minus x divided by root 2x into a 1 minus x. Is everyone clear with this part? सबसे पहले the simplification. Then we look at the expression again. Acha, now out of the 4 expressions over here, which are the terms that would actually create a problem? देखो, if you plug in 0, तो sine inverse 1 defined है, non-zero है, cos inverse 1 0 है. So what we do is, इसको split कर लो दो part में, x tending to 0 plus sine inverse of 1 by x by 1 by x into limit x tending to 0 plus cos inverse of 1 minus x by root 2x. Okay. Now, to solve for the cos inverse x part, what we do is, put 1 minus x as cos theta. So that x हो जाएगा 1 minus cos theta, which can be written as
2 sine square x squared.
2 sine squared theta by 2. ठीक है ना? So making all those changes, we'll have limit x tending to 0 plus sine inverse of 1 minus x by 1 minus x into limit x tending to 0 plus, अच्छा cos inverse of cos theta आ जाएगा थीटा डिवाइड बाई, अच्छा x का वैल्यू डालेंगे तो 4 का रूट हो गया 2 साइन थीटा बाई, पॉजिटिव वैल्यू होगा बिकॉज x पॉजिटिव है, तो we'll take the positive value for it. ठीक है ना? अब लिमिट लगा दो, as x tends to 0, theta tends to 0 as well. तब okay, अब now what will the limit of sine inverse of 1 by x minus 1 by x?
1.
बोलो बोलो बोलो, what be the value of sine inverse of 1 by x?
Google officer
साइन इन देखो, although we do have the expression as sine inverse of 1 minus x by 1 minus x, but 1 minus x is not tending to 0. लिमिट 1 नहीं होगा. ये सब चीजें ध्यान रखने का है. x is tending to 0. तो ऊपर में आएगा साइन इनवर्स 1. साइन इनवर्स 1 इज पाई बाई 2 बाई 1. ठीक है, इनटू ये थीटा बाई 2 ऊपर चला गया तो थीटा बाई 2 बाई साइन थीटा बाई 2 1. यहां पे थीटा टेंडिंग टू 0 है. So the right hand limit of this is pi by 2. The right hand limit of this function is pi by 2. Clear है?
यस सर.
Yes, sir.
Okay, तो अब in the exact same way we proceed for the right hand limit. अच्छा, right hand निकाल लिया, left hand limit. So next we solve for the left hand limit. Okay, so left hand limit के लिए we come back to this. पहले तो x minus box x है. अब लेफ्ट हैंड लिमिट का मतलब हो गया -1 से 0 के बीच में x है. So what would be fractional part of x in that case be?
X minus
x plus 1.
X plus 1.
So ये हो जाएगा लिमिट x टेंडिंग टू 0 माइनस साइन इनवर्स ऑफ 1 माइनस x plus 1 into cos inverse of 1 minus x plus 1 by whole root twice of x plus 1 into 1 minus x plus 1. अब इसको सिंप्लीफाई करो हर जगह पे. तो 0 माइनस ये आ जाएगा साइन इनवर्स ऑफ माइनस एक्स 1 1 कैंसिल हो गया इंटू कॉस इनवर्स ऑफ माइनस एक्स. Divide by root over of twice of x plus 1 into a minus x. चलो अब ये तो और भी सिंपल है. लिमिट x टेंडिंग टू 0 साइन इनवर्स x साइन इनवर्स ऑफ माइनस एक्स बाई माइनस एक्स. भाई ये तो डायरेक्टली स्टैंडर्ड लिमिट बन गया. वैल्यू ये तो सीधा 1 हो गया. साइन इनवर्स ऑफ समथिंग बाय दैट समथिंग एज द समथिंग टेंड्स टू 0.
इतना इतना टेक्नोलॉजी सब बनाएगा. आज भगवान को जो पूजा करता है.
Now next, what is the value of cos inverse 0?
pi by
Cos inverse 0 is pi by 2 और डिनोमिनेटर में आ जाएगा √2. So the value over here will come out to be pi by 2√2. That would be the left hand limit. ठीक है ना. तो अब अपने को निकालना क्या था क्वेश्चन में? 2r² plus 4l². तो देखो हाउ मच वुड बी 2r² plus 4l². So 2 into pi square by 4 plus 4 into pi square by 8. The answer is pi square. Two r square plus l square will be pi square. Isn't clear with the whole question? LHL RHL पूरा?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Moving on. Next question. Find limit x tending to 0, 8 by x power 8, 1 minus cos of x square by 2 minus cos of x square by 4 plus cos of x square by 2 into cos of x square by 4.
पापा आपको अपना फोन चाहिए? आपको अपना फोन चाहिए?
Answer anyone? बेसिकली खाली मिडिल टर्म फैक्टराइज करना है. लिमिट एक्सटेंडिंग 0, 8 बाई एक्स पावर 8. यहाँ पे वी हैव 1 माइनस कॉस ऑफ एक्स स्क्वेयर बाई 2 एंड इन दोनों में से माइनस ऑफ कॉस ऑफ एक्स स्क्वेयर बाई 4 कॉमन ले लो, तो ब्रैकेट में आ जाएगा 1 माइनस कॉस ऑफ एक्स स्क्वेयर बाई 2. So we can write this whole thing as limit x tending to 0, 8 by x power 8, 1 minus cos of x square by 2 into 1 minus cos of x square by 4. Now what do we need to convert 1 minus cos of x square by 2 into a standard form?
x square
X square by 2 का whole square, तो x power 4 by 4. So 1 minus cos of x square by 2 divided by x power 4 by 4 into 4 into 1 minus cos of x square by 4 divided by x power 4 by 16 into 16. ठीक है, तो x power 4 करके x power 8 एडजस्ट हो गया. When we plug in the value of the limit, so this would be 8 into 1 by 4 into इस लिमिट का वैल्यू हाफ, इस लिमिट का वैल्यू हाफ, तो into 1 by 16 into another half. तो इधर तो ये कैंसिल हो गया. द आंसर इज 1 by 32. Clear? Next question. Limit extending to 2 cos alpha to the power x plus sin alpha to the power x minus 1 divided by x minus 2. Okay, method of solving. Cos alpha to the power x plus sin alpha to the power x. Now, in order to solve this, what we do is we write this one as sin square alpha cos square alpha. Sin square alpha plus cos square alpha by x minus 2. Okay, so that we are able to convert this into standard limits. अब देखो, cos वाले part से cos square alpha taken common. We have a cos power alpha, cos alpha x minus 2 minus 1 plus sin square alpha taken common, तो आ जाएगा sin alpha to the power x minus 2 minus 1 whole divided by x minus 2 whole divided by x minus 2 limit extending to 2. अब ये हो गया a to the power something minus 1 by that something as that something tends to 0 limit
log
क्या होता है a power x by a power x minus 1 by x extending to 0
of it.
ln a. So this would be cos square alpha into ln cos alpha plus sin square alpha into ln sin alpha. Okay, next question. Limit n tending to infinity n square whole into root over of 1 minus cos of 1 by n into whole root of 1 minus cos of 1 by n into whole root of 1 minus cos of 1 by n going up till infinity. It's basically a trick question just to confuse. I'll just give a very simple example कि इसमें करना क्या है. Suppose if we have a root over of x whole into root x. So effectively, what does this imply? This means that we have a root x into root over of root x, which is x power half plus 1/4. अगर यहाँ पे अंदर में एक और रूट एक्स डाल दोगे तो यहाँ पे एक और रूट एक्स हो गया. So that will be a 1/8. So basically what this expression is like limit n tending to infinity n square into 1 minus cos of 1 by n. अब इस पे पावर लग गया हाफ प्लस 1/4 प्लस 1/8 गोइंग अप टिल इंफिनिटी विच इज एन इनफिनिट जीपी. तो सम ऑफ एन इनफिनिट जीपी क्या हो जाएगा?
A by 1 minus R.
A by 1 minus r, which is half into 1 minus half 1. So basically this question is like writing limit n tending to infinity 1 minus cos of 1 by n और इस n square को replace कर दिया as 1 by n square. तो 1 minus cos of something by the square of that thing as the thing tends to 0. Answer half. ठीक है? Okay, then we'll stop at this for today. That will be the end of discussion on limits for today. I hope everyone was able to understand all the questions that we have done so far.